Hi, it's Nancy Wittenberg with Coldwell Banker.
And Carla England with eXp Realty.
And why are we here today?
Appraisal gap explained.
All right, so.
An appraisal gap is when a property doesn't appraise for the purchase price that was agreed to. And
the buyer will provide a certain amount of money to cover the difference of the shortage between the purchase price and the gap. So let's explain that.
Okay, so say the purchase price is $220,000. Assume the buyer is doing a 3% down payment conventional loan. $6,000 down payment.
Yep, and the loan is $213,400.
Okay. Assume the appraisal comes in at $218,000 and the buyer has agreed to pay up to $3,500 appraisal gap.
Okay, so that would mean that the buyer would put down $8,000, that's $6,000 plus the $2,000 appraisal gap, and then the loan amount would still remain the $213,400.
Right. So, however, if the appraisal comes in at $4,000 below the purchase price, say $216,000, then the buyer and seller would have three options.
Yeah. So number one, the buyer can cancel and get back the earnest money.
Okay, number two, the buyer and seller could agree that the seller would reduce the sales price by $500 and the buyer would pay the $3,500 appraisal gap.
Sure. Or the buyer could agree to increase his contribution to the appraisal gap by $500 more, meaning the $4,000 appraisal gap.
Okay. Oh, we just touched on earnest money. That is oftentimes 1% of the purchase price held by the escrow company after a buyer's offer is accepted.
Yes. So now one thing I just want to say is these numbers obviously are just an example. If there is a gap, both sides need to sit down and talk about it. You know, who's going to change in certain ways. What happens if a buyer doesn't have the difference, doesn't have any extra money to put down?
Doesn't have that extra 500 or 1,000 or whatever it is that was below. Well, that's where the seller is going to either have to agree to drop that purchase price to where it's the appraisal gap that the buyer said he can come in with, or they're going to have to cancel.
Right. So a buyer is never forced to pay more than a property is worth. So if it comes in and they can't agree to terms, then you can cancel and get back your earnest.
What happens if that house appraises for over the purchase price?
You do a song and dance. Yay!
The buyer does the song and dance.
The seller
usually doesn't even know.
Yeah, exactly. They won't necessarily find out. So just be happy. Enjoy your good fortune.
Yes.
But we do not change the purchase price at that time. The purchase price will only go down. It can't. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
The purchase price only goes up if you agree. Okay? Only changes if you agree to it. All right?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for watching. I hope you understood everything perfectly. And if not, please give one of us a call.
Definitely. And like and subscribe. So thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you very much.